don't know what it is because my dad got it at the grocery store. So let's open the box. I know what this is. This is spaghetti squash, and did you know that this can substitute for pasta? So let's get started. So now I cut my spaghetti squash in half, and I'm going to scoop out the seeds and anything else that's caught in the seeds. And if you like pumpkin seeds, these also work. You can toast them and they'll taste good. They kind of look like pumpkin seeds and smell like pumpkin seeds. Now, since it's getting tough, you have to scoop it out with your hands. So slimy. Get all these seeds out. And I need you guys to get out. So, and they're all sticking to me. So, what you're gonna do is after you've gotten most of the seeds out, which I just have to get a little bit on the other side, then you're gonna start actually like scooping out all this like spaghetti. Pull this out. Make sure all the seeds are out so that you don't come across the seed in your pasta. And oh, I see one. You will not hide. There. And now, whoops, still got one. I'm going to do, now that they're all out, I'm going to do my other squash, and it's actually called spaghetti squash. So, take my other butternut, my other spaghetti squash, scoop it out. Both sides. Make sure that you get it all. And it's very easy to scrape it out, so it shouldn't take you very long. You want to get all of it out. And this is just about clean, where I can start scooping out all of it and putting it in a bowl. Just a few more seeds. Inspection. Oops, little piece, little piece. Ah! There we go. Okay. All of the seeds are out. So now I cut my spaghetti squash and I've got all of the seeds and the extra flesh out of it. And I'm going to season it for when I bake it. So you're going to need extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO, salt and pepper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to put it in the inside. Drizzle it over. And I do have this nice handy little tool with me, and this, and it's going to help me get all of it. And instead of pouring the EVO all around here. Just put them in the middle, take it, and go around the edges. Do that for all of it. And I'm only going to be doing the inside because the spaghetti from the squash is only the inside, it's not the outside. So it's not as important if you don't get the outside seasoned. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt, and then I'm going to do it again like how I did my EVO. A little bit for this. Make sure it's seasoned good. And now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to do it again so there's pepper and salt everywhere. Same with this one. And I'm going to put this on my pan. And the seasoned side down. And that's gonna go in the oven for 40 minutes. Now I'm going to make my filling for my spaghetti squash. I'm going to be making two types. The first one's going to have an Alfredo sauce, and the second one's going to have like a vegetable mixture. So I'm going to start by pounding my garlic. Loves to stick. And I get about that. And I'm just going to put it in my pan for my Alfredo sauce. I'm going to set that aside. Then I'm going to start it for the veggie mixture. Do a little bit of that. And put that in. Now I'm going to cut my Roma tomato. This is also going to go in the vegetable mixture. Then I'm going to cut it in half again. One more time. And then I'm going to lay it like this so that it's easy to cut. And you don't want your pieces too big. I'm going to do my other half. And depending on how much tomato you like, you can do more or less. And you can use the regular tomato. I just choose the Roma tomato because I think it has a better flavor. Finish this up. There we go. Put these in my bowl. And I'm going to start, I'm going to start cutting my peppers. I have two kinds of peppers. I have an orange and a yellow. And they don't have a different flavor. I just choose these because they give a better color to your dish. And I'm going to teach you today how to julienne. So, cut the top off. And my favorite part is in here. There's a heart, and wherever that green is, that's edible, and it's delicious. I'm only going to do half of a pepper, and what you want to do is you want to take out the middle of this pepper, where the seeds are, flip it, cut it in half. Now, julienning takes some time. So if you're in a rush, you can make regular size, but the juliennes are going to be much better. There we go. This is how you julienne. Cut it in half one more time. And I smush it down because it's easier to cut. And your pieces should be tiny. First time I did it, I was doing it at a certain size, and that was even too big. So I was like, wow. These are just about the size of your fingertip. And this should be the size of the pepper. So very thin. Then I'm going to put those in there. And going to do another half of the yellow. I'm going to cut it like that. Thin pieces. You want to cut all the way through. Be cautious of your fingers. And there we go. These can go in. And this part is a little bit harder to julienne, but I'm still going to do it. There we go. Delicious snack. Sweet. So, I'm going to do the same thing with my orange pepper. Cut the top off. There we go. No heart in this one. Not that I see of. Sad. Twist, pluck, and if you still have a bunch of seeds in there, you might have to wash it off, but normally I don't. I'm going to use this half. Remember, cut in half one more time. I'm going to move that. These are good to put on the top of things if you were ever making a stuffed pepper. You can set these on top, so when you serve them, you take the top off and the fillings inside, and it's just a really neat decoration. I'm going to set these over here. Start julienne. Done. And my last piece. I'm not going to use this piece because it's too thick and you want an even cut. So I'm going to eat this. It's delicious and crunchy. Peppers are one of my favorite ingredients to work with. Put that there. I'm going to take these pieces and put them in with my yellow peppers. And these are going to go in a pan to be sauteed, but first I'm going to add a few more ingredients just to give it more flavor. I'm going to add a little bit of bacon. This is going to give it the crunch and the saltiness. I'm going to add some pepper. add pepper, you're gonna have to add its best friend, which is salt. I put a little bit in my hand so I know how much I'm putting in. Put it in there. There we go. Now this is ready to go in the pan, and we are going to saute this. So now I'm going to start sauteing my vegetables. The first thing you're going to do is obvious, turn on your pan. Turn that on round 3. Going to add a little bit of chicken broth. Pull the tab off, it's brand new. There we go. Put some of this in. And this is what's gonna make the vegetables get more of that flavor. And then I'm going to take my vegetables and I'm going to put them in with the chicken broth. Make sure all that garlic's in there because that's really gonna give it some flavor. And I'm going to let a little more, just so it's almost covered. There. And make sure that everything is laid down so it's all absorbing the goodness. And once it starts boiling, give it a stir after a few minutes. Try one, and if you think they're done, go ahead. So now we're going to start on the other sauce. For my other sauce, I have garlic in the pan already. I'm going to turn the heat on. Turn that from 3 to. Now, the butter. What you're going to have to do is cut it into little blocks instead of just throwing half a stick in there or something. Got to cut it up so it's thin, and I'm going to add just about maybe 5 thin pieces. So it may sound like a lot of butter, but it's truly not. I also have my heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to put some of that in. And it's kind of like a thicker milk, like a cream sauce. And this, what you're going to do is you're going to set your butter on top, and once the butter has melted, that's when you're going to add your Parmesan cheese. It's sticking. Butter in, and this is what's going to make your Alfredo sauce off the charts delicious. My spaghetti squash is done, and all I had to do was poke a knife in them, and if it went in smoothly, I knew it was ready and I could pull it out. So my mixture with the butter and the heavy whipping cream and the garlic is done, and I'm going to add Parmesan cheese, and you can never have enough cheese, so I'm going to add about 2 to 3 pinches, because the more the merrier. There we go. And I'm going to stir this around. And let that cheese melt. So my vegetables are flying tomatoes! Anyway, my vegetables are just about done, so I'm gonna go back to my squash. Okay, so this is the really cool part. Before we saw when we put them in, they were really hard. When you pull them out now, something amazing happens. It looks like noodles. And that's where it gets its name, spaghetti squash. This is like so amazing. And it looks exactly like noodles, but it's healthier. I just scrape all of it out because since it's so good, you don't want to waste any of it. Get a little more. And you can also use these as bowls. There we go. Now that's enough for like one portion. You can get 2 portions out of 1/2. So there's 4 meals right there. Then I'm going to turn the pan so I can get this side. And whoopsies. Once again, magic. I gotta pull this closer for me. There we go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing and get these noodles out. They look so good. And even though it has to cook for 40 minutes to reach this form, it's worth the wait. So just scoop the rest of this out. There we go. 2 portions. One's going to be for my Alfredo, and the other one is going to be for my sauteed vegetables. So now my Alfredo is done, and it tastes exactly like Alfredo. It's so delicious and smooth. So it's a nice mixture. I'm gonna pour this over my noodles. And this is going to be amazing. After I've done that, I'm going to take my Parmesan cheese, and this is optional, and I'm going to sprinkle it over the top because you can never have enough cheese. Now, my wonderful dish is done. This is part 2 of plating. Now we're going to put the seared vegetables on my wonderful noodles. They're proof. So, I'm going to get these vegetables out. I'm just going to lay them on there just so they create kind of a rainbow. And I'm going to add some of the sauce. This is just going to give a more flavor. There we go. And then I'm gonna add cheese. Cheese. And this is mozzarella. You can add your favorite cheese, not trees, though. And there we go. My part 2 dish is done.